Hey out there, it's Wake Angel 2001, and it's time for another Sonic Boom vlog. But first, check it out. I got the Sonic amiibo. Isn't that nice? If you take a look, it's almost exactly the same size as an actual Sonic figure. Maybe just a tiny bit smaller in terms of scale. Isn't that funny? Okay. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Now, there is something I want to say real quick before I actually get into talking about this episode. And that's the episode's theme, which is the whole body swap gimmick. This actually happens in a surprisingly large number of cartoons, but there's usually problems with it that I don't really like. One of them is that when the bodies switch, the person still talks with their own voice even though they're in the other person's body. I mean, you have that person's vocal cords, and, you know, how would your voice come out of someone else's vocal cords and throat? It just wouldn't happen. And the other problem that usually happens is that the person retains their athletic ability. Like if you switch bodies with another person and that person was significantly skinnier or significantly bulkier, you're not going to retain your own physical attributes. You're going to be awkward in a different body. Like, you might reach for something and then use too much strength and accidentally crush it, or like you try to walk but then you trip because your legs are either a lot longer or a lot shorter than you're used to and your feet aren't reaching the ground at the time you're expecting them to. You know, you're going to have some problems with that. Let's see, I think an example of it done poorly is in an episode of Kim Possible. I know I'm saying something bad about Kim Possible, oh my god. Yeah, but there was an episode where Kim and Ron switched bodies, and despite being in Ron's clumsy teenage boy body, Kim still had all of her agility and strength that she had as a teenager / secret agent superhero thing, cheerleader thing. And Ron, despite being in Kim's super athletic body, he was still a complete klutz and oaf. I mean, I know he's, he doesn't have the skills of a gymnast or a cheerleader, but come on, like. Also, the fact that they had basically swapped genders when they did that never once came up, which was kind of silly. A time that the body swap worked out okay, though, was an episode of Code Lyoko. Yeah, I used to be a big part of the Code Lyoko fandom back in the day. There was an episode where Odd and Yumi switched bodies, and they actually made jokes about how all of a sudden they're in different genders. Like, Odd kept on itching something on his back, and he realized that it was his bra strap, and Yumi threatened him to not take that off. And there was actually concerns about like oh my god, he's gonna go to bed in my body. Ugh. Like you know, they still talk with the right voices. They had their various idiosyncrasies. And oh yeah, the fact that they had basically switched genders as they switched minds, it actually made it work. It's like what you think would happen. That said, today's episode of Sonic Boom involves Sonic the Hedgehog and Dr. Eggman switching brains, and it was an example of this genre done right, because they talked in the right gender and they had to get used to their physical attributes. Okay, so, oh man, so many hilarious sight gags were in this episode. Let's see. It starts with them looking at a meteor shower. There are a lot of meteor showers in Sonic's world now that I think about it. This is at least the second one. Might even be the third one if you count the Bad Luck Knuckles episode. So they're watching meteors, and they see that one of them actually goes and lands somewhere. So Tails wants to investigate it scientifically, and Sonic races everyone there. So when they get to the site of the meteor crash, Dr. Eggman is also there, and he wants to claim the scientific discovery for himself. So both Sonic and Eggman are... Oh, they get into an argument over dibs, and like you don't respect dibs? What next? Are you going to ignore the 5-second rule? Step on cracks without any concerns for your mother's spinal cord? And Knuckles looks at him like, Sonic! So Sonic says that he does respect dibs, but only if you're touching the thing that you want to claim dibs on. So both he and Eggman run to touch the meteor, they touch it at the same time, and in the next scene, Sonic is regaining consciousness in what looks like Eggman's lair. He sees Dr. Eggman, and he charges him, and realizes he just slams into a mirror. It is that he's in Eggman's body! So Cubot and Orbot say that after touching the meteor, he lost consciousness, and it was like spring break all over again. And then, okay, this is awesome. They do some hand-drawn frames of Dr. Eggman's sequence in the last spring break. It is so cool to see these characters done in hand-drawn stylings. It's great. Like, we see Dr. Eggman, he's like building sandcastles, and he's going crazy, and he passes out, and Cubot and Orbot draw Sonic's Sonic logo on his forehead in suntan lotion so that he gets a sunburn everywhere except for a white spot on his forehead, which is the Sonic logo, and then they help him sleep it off. It is so funny! I love that art! Oh, to see these characters done in official hand-drawn stylings is so awesome! Oh, yeah, that was awesome. So we go on, Sonic is still trying to convince Cubot and Orbot that he's in Eggman's body and he's actually still Sonic, but you know, they think that he's just being silly. And then we go back and we see Eggman in Sonic's body, and he's milking it like yes, Amy, my dear, because I am Sonic and we are friends and this is my humble shack. It's so cute seeing Dr. Eggman pretending to be Sonic. But every time Amy leaves, Sonic, Eggman starts to do some maniacal, evil plot speak, and then Amy's like, "What was that?" And like, "Nothing." I don't know, this shows that Amy has more dimension to her character than a fangirl crush, because Sonic actually calls Amy dear, and she doesn't read into it. I mean, old Amy, she would have fainted if Sonic called her dear. So let's see. So Dr. Eggman tries to use Sonic's super speed, thinking that he can use his power to destroy them so much easier, but when he first tries to run, he slams into a wall. So he decides to actually train and get better at using the speed, because, you know, you're not going to be used to your body at first. In fact, that's what Sonic does. He tries to prove that he's Sonic by demonstrating some of his agility, but since he's in Dr. Eggman's big body, he tries to move, and then he actually hyperventilates because he doesn't understand how the breathing rhythm of Dr. Eggman's body works. You know, because that's what would actually happen! Can you tell that I'm really tired of the cliche of the body swap, and really like the way that it's that it works in this episode? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we're getting past this. We're gonna continue through the episode. Sonic. So yeah, Dr. Eggman says that he's gonna do something nefarious, but it turns out that he just likes playing games with Sonic's friends. Like he's playing what was the game he was playing with Knuckles? Oh yeah, he's playing this video game with Knuckles. The music sounds kind of like the Pac-Man theme, like a remix of the Pac-Man theme. And the controllers they're using look like Atari 2600 controllers because they have just a joystick and a single button. But it's like some kind of fighting game with a green chameleon guy and a purple muscly guy. Is it a reference to Sonic the Fighters? Because they don't really look like Knack and SBO. But after Dr. Eggman wins, he's like, "Haha, in your face!" And Knuckles is like, "Geez, Sonic, you don't have to be such a big..." "Oh, yes, because Sonic is a good sport who would not rub this into..." I'm not entirely sure that Sonic's a good sport. After all, he was kind of an asshole in his Bad Luck Knuckles episode. Dr. Eggman. What's he gonna do? Yeah, so he starts going off a checklist and finding out like he's gonna be playing games with sticks and hanging out and watch a movie with Amy. So like, I guess I'm just gonna have to destroy them all tomorrow. Like, cause that's funny. That's funny. Like yes, I can finally destroy them. Hey, ready for some video games? Ooh, video games. Also, he keeps calling Knuckles by the wrong name. He like calls him Noodles and kneecaps or something like that. He keeps on calling him weird end-sounding names. So yeah, so Sonic convinces Cubot and Norbot to let him take the egg pod, the Egg-O-Matic hovercraft. He flies it to the place, and he's like, he tries to convince all of his friends that he's Sonic in Eggman's body. Of course, they don't believe him, and Eggman is much more convincing than Sonic's body. And Eggman hits himself in the face with a pie, and he says, "Oh no! Eggman hit me in the face with a pie! Get him!" I don't know how that worked, because everybody was looking at Eggman, and they would have clearly seen that he did not throw a pie. But still, it fools Sticks, Tails, and Knuckles, who hit him with boomerangs, hammers, and fists until he has to retreat. And then Cubot and Norbot show him that he has a robot army. Like, okay, robot army, yay! So he takes the robot army, which includes cameos from Burnbot and the Mega, which is, yay, recurring characters. Although I'm pretty sure it's that they don't have to make new art assets because, CG models are expensive. But I don't care because Burnbot's back for another episode. Justifying his existence as a toy. Now we need a toy of the Mega. Oh god, they're probably going to make a toy of the Mega. Where am I going to keep that? I don't have any more room on my shelf. I'm probably going to have to put Drago away. No. Okay, so Sonic tells all the robots warning shots only because he doesn't want anyone to get hurt. But when nothing moves, Cubot and Norbot say that they're programmed to only respond when they're threatened. So it says, okay. So he says, nobody gets hurt or somebody's gonna get hurt. Oh, by the way, I want to compliment the voice actors on this episode for actually managing to imitate other characters' intonations. Like, Dr. Eggman's voice actor really does make himself sound like Sonic in his mannerisms and his speech pattern. And Sonic's voice actor does a pretty good Eggman impersonation. That's something that a lot of people don't appreciate, and I think that's why sometimes the voice actors just switch in body swap episodes, because the voice actors can't really bring themselves to act like a different character than usual. But in this case, they do. And I respect the hell out of that. So Sonic's friends start smashing all the robots, and Sonic starts complaining, "Oh, do you have any idea how expensive those are? And all the parts and labor alone." And by the way, Tails this entire time has been investigating the meteor. He says, "The readings of this thing are off the chart. Fortunately, I brought a bigger chart." And he brings out this huge clipboard. And he sees a lizard crawling on the meteor, and a fly lands on the meteor, and there's like sparks, and then all of a sudden the lizard's acting like a fly, and the fly is acting like a lizard, and that's when he realizes that when two things touch the meteor, they swap bodies. Ah, crap! The battery's about to die again. One moment. Okay, back to this angle, the one that shows off my shelf more than my face. Okay, so where was I? Yes. Tails just observed that the meteor makes people switch minds, so he returns back to Sonic's place and tells them that Sonic and Eggman have switched brains. So upon finding out that the cat's out of the bag, the Eggman runs up and takes the meteor, and he's like he doesn't want to switch bodies because now he has Sonic's powers and it's so much easier now. Oh god. I had the frizzies this morning. Okay, so Sonic convinces Dr. Eggman to switch back because he says If he doesn't switch back, then he's going to take a pair of scissors and cut the mustache. So to preserve his beloved mustache, Dr. Eggman takes his old body back. Of course, the next scene is Sonic and his friends playing beach volleyball, because that's beach volleyball, something they like to do. Has been established in previous episodes. And we go back to Dr. Eggman's lab where he's lamenting the whole thing, and there's oh well, and Cubot and Norbot are kind of laughing behind him, and when he turns to face the camera, it's revealed that he's sunburned and has the Sonic emblem on his forehead. Because, you know, when they touch the meteor, they lose consciousness. So it's possible he was lying on that beach unconscious for a while, and Cubot and Norbot like, oh, hey, wait, guys. Okay, give us about an hour or so, and then we'll all go back to the base. I'm sure that's what happened. That's funny. I've been complimenting this episode the whole time, so you guys know I like it. I mean, this is a body-swapping episode done right, where the characters had to get used to their new bodies, where they're talking with the wrong voice because, well, they're still talking with the body's voice instead of the mind's voice. Which is good, because you know, sometimes I think like the writers of cartoon shows don't really think much of their audience because they expect them to be younger kids. So part of the whole speaking with the mind's voice instead of the body's voice is because they're trying to make it really clear for the kids in the audience that it's actually the other person, you know, because people are too stupid to know. I don't know. Although, when Sonic is doing his internal monologue, his thoughts are in his voice, and it's only when he's actually speaking that it comes out Eggman's voice. Way to keep track of that. That's exactly how it should work. Yeah, so I really like this episode. The visual gags of this episode are actually really good. I like seeing, I love that hand-drawn sequence. Even though it was just a bunch of stills, it was still awesome. I liked it. This was a good episode. I really don't know what else to say. This episode was great. Yeah, I'd say if I was to do a top 5, this would probably penetrate my top 5. Probably have to think about it a little more. Oh dear. Yeah, so, with the sneeze of ending having passed, I bid you all farewell, and, maybe there'll be an episode next week, maybe there won't. We'll find out. This is Wake Angel 2001, signing off.